Um, Let us explore one emotion meditation trick to practice daily with ease. An individual wrote, lamenting that they're having trouble letting go of emotion rather than intellect. And that really brings up 2 points. Hello, Shivi. Good to see you. Here's the first point. Oopsie, wrong button. Emotions are no better or worse than our perceptions, intentions, thoughts, memories, and imaginings. They are not somehow inferior. They do not make us bad. They are not shameful. They are not impediments to peace or even enlightenment. The second point I'd like to explore is letting go is not the same as shoving away. Many people have been taught that letting go is just a sanctimonious synonym for shoving away. It is not. Then what is the function of meditation? Well, meditation is a counterpoint to mindfulness. So let us explore how mindfulness works. Scott, I want to make sure that this is on the screen. Excellent. So every time we breathe in, evolution has already wired us to automatically access our sympathetic nervous system, which is ensconced within the middle third of our spinal cord. This sympathetic nervous system has evolved to help us to notice in a very special way, to help us to notice vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly. The question remains, what are we to do with that which we notice? Every time we exhale, we are already wired, thanks to evolution, to automatically access the parasympathetic nervous system, divided between the lower third and the upper third of the same spinal cord. This parasympathetic nervous system supports both physical relaxation and its product, which is mental release. What is the most efficient way for us to cooperate with these neurological processes? During each inhalation, we could silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this. During each exhalation, we could silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb ease. That's it. That's all it takes. Sit impeccably and practice this mental recitation in harmony with your breathing. Start off doing it for about 5 minutes every 12 hours or so. Maybe after a week, you could increase that to 10 minutes. Maybe after 2 weeks, you can increase that to 15 minutes. Progressing thusly. Within 12 weeks, you could reach cruising speed, metaphoric cruising altitude of 60 minutes. Over the span of just 3 months, you could gently and incrementally acclimate to an hour's meditation every 12 hours. All you're doing, but think of it this way. Ancestor Wu explained that 3 treasures of the path were Jing, Shen, and Qi. Our body that has the capacity to sit properly. Our mind that can silently and mentally notice and relax in harmony with our inhalation and our exhalation. This is the essence of the path. This is the essence of the 7th and 8th folds of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. And the ultimate irony is this: simply by practicing this easy procedure, we automatically master the remaining 6 folds of the Buddha's path. We cannot help but notice impermanence. For things are always changing. We're always noticing different sights, different sounds, different sensations, different flavors, different scents, different emotions, different intentions, different thoughts, different memories, different imaginings. All these things going on all the time. Impermanence is impossible not to notice. And it makes of clinging and absurdity and of changelessness an illusion, a party trick, if you will. Persist with mindfulness and meditation, and you will experience the highest love, which is the spontaneous and uncontrived byproduct of mindfulness and meditation. The love that affects our intention, our communication, our behavior, even our commerce. Persist in mindfulness and meditation. Persist in noticing and relaxing. And you will find that your choices, utterances, and deeds flow from love's centered spontaneity, which could also be described as right, right, or excuse me, right or effortless effort. We don't even have to push away tension. If we notice tension during our inhalation, whether we want to or not, part of our body is going to relax, even fractionally, during the next exhalation. And if one part of our body is in spasm, then the remaining 99% of our body can relax around it. And the cool thing is, we do not have to force it. Our job is simple: not to contrive the process, but simply to cooperate with this process, which is basically just an amazing gift of evolution. Having completed our opening lesson, now let us shift gears. It is General Leia Organa's Saturday evening. Come, let us meditate like a Jedi after approximately 30 seconds of housekeeping. This is the Renegade Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. For more than 30 years, I have harnessed both my autistic special interests as well as my ADHD hyperfocus to spend about 8 hours a day, almost every day, studying, practicing, mastering, and reverse engineering the teachings and techniques of each school of meditation so that I can become your nerdy, neurodivergent guide to nirvana. I will tend to your question in one moment. Welcome, my friends, to Meditate Like a Jedi, which is made possible due to the generosity of viewers just like you. So now I'm going to subject you to, let's see, I'm going to tap button 8. We can take a look at Wizard's question. Let's see. Now, if I'm really clever and I push the right button, there we go. That should do it. So, if I have questions of how to practice a sadhana in the center hosting the website course won't get in touch with me, what could I do? Okay, so that's it. That must be very, very difficult and very, very frustrating. I I can't tell you what other people are doing, whether they are failing to communicate with you out of some sort of a organizational incompetence or deliberately. But if you feel comfortable, you can ask your question about sadhana uh, right now, and I'll be happy to answer your question for you. And although I might not be the teacher you have in mind, at least I'm the teacher you have access to. And so if you feel comfortable, I'll gladly answer your question. Just be as specific as you know how. Okay. So what I'd like to do is tap button 9. Whoops, wrong lever. Here we go. And so while I'm waiting for Wizard to ask his next question, well, I have a set. Here we go. I'm going to hit, well, I'm going to go back to button 8. So, Wizard asks, can I visualize myself as a Buddha right away? In this case, the Shakyamuni sadhana. How should my mind visualization be rough or tamed? Excellent. These are good questions. So I'm going to ask you to stop typing while I'm answering your question. That way you'll get the most out of it. So to answer your question, I'm going to go back, quick like a bunny. I'm going to tap button 5. Wizard, stop with the questions. Let me answer. If you keep typing questions, you won't hear my answer, which will be a big fat bummer. So let's go over here real quick. I'm going here. Okay. Sturgeon's Law reminds us that 90% of everything sucks. What could that suckiness looks like? It looks like the fact that most everybody I've ever met, and probably everybody you've ever met, has been conditioned since childhood to be rigid and fearful and superstitious and controlling, elitist, cryptic, competitive, and cruel. Now, this path is powerful, and it can take us many places other than nirvana. The only path that leads to nirvana is the path of being flexible, loving, rational, laid back, egalitarian, lucid, cooperative, and kind. Now, I'm not being rigid, I'm not being cruel, I'm not being mean. This is the teaching of the Buddha. 50% of the Buddha's Eightfold Path pertains to loving kindness. In the Buddha's, let's see, the fifth enlightenment factor pertains to being flexible and laid back. So this is the Buddha's teaching. Now, those who are rigid teach from a literal point of view. Those who are flexible are very comfortable with the idea that although some statements are literal, other statements are figurative. The late head of the Nyingma order, Dilgo Khyentse Rinpoche, insisted that all the teachings of Tantra are based upon the teachings of Sutra, with which they must never contradict. Let's see, the Dalai Lama is asked to write many forewords for many books, and usually his forewords are perfunctory. However, in when the Dalai Lama wrote the foreword to the final meditation manual dictated by Zapatrul Rinpoche, that was the most enthusiastic foreword I've ever read. And in that foreword, the Dalai Lama insisted that Patrul Rinpoche's final meditation manual was literally a complete path to enlightenment, and figuratively like an elixir for reviving the dead. Here's the importance about that. The final meditation manual of Zapatrul Rinpoche is, as a young man, Zapatrul Rinpoche was very, very rigid and superstitious and elitist, just the way his teachers were, just the way he was taught to be. But after a lifetime of study and practice, he transformed. He became flexible and laid back and egalitarian and all this other good stuff. And this is reflected spectacularly in his final meditation manual. And you can buy a copy of this, not from me, from Amazon. It's called The Heart Treasure of the Enlightened Ones. I'll type it for you out real quick. Let's see. Go over here. It's called The Heart Treasure, of the Enlightened Ones. You can find this in your better bookstores. Now, the part of the book is valuable is not the main part of the book. It's the root text at the back of the book. That's what you want to focus on. That's what will demonstrate to you that the highest teachings are not literal, are not written from the literal point of view, but from the figurative point of view. And now I'm going to illustrate what that means. I've given you the principle. I'm now going to give you the specific. And I hope you'll hang in with me. So quick like a bunny, I'm going to... Let's see. I hope you got that. So I'm going to continue with the notes. Let's see. Let's go over here and let's get back here. And I'm going here. So we're going to start with... I'm going to give you a literal statement and then its figurative interpretation. Okay? So, my body is that of Shakyamuni. That's a literal statement. Now, a simile. My body is like Shakyamuni. So that begs the question, how is my body like Shakyamuni's blissful body of light? And the answer is hinted at by the great South Indian Buddhist philosopher Nagarjuna. What did he say about our bodies? That conventionally, our bodies could be sensual, and ultimately our bodies could be as non-graspable as a vast empty void. So, in other words, although conventionally our bodies could be as sensual as a Buddha's real or imagined body of bliss, forgive my spelling, ultimately our bodies could feel as non-graspable as a Buddha's real or imagined body of light. So, how do we transform these words into tangible contemplations? We do it this way. First, we practice love, conventional bodhicitta. And we do that with a prayer or a wish. Yadam, health. For all forms. So as you breathe in, you could silently and mentally recite Yadam health. As you exhale, for all forms, remembering that form is a body. And you could do that for 3 or 4 breaths, that's fine. Then you can turn to wisdom. Forms like Yadam felt yet void. And you could recite that for 3 or 4 breaths. Forms like Yidam felt yet void. And then just sit either in Sutra Mahamudra or in Ati Yoga. The essence of both is simply so sitting, and as you breathe in, silently and mentally reciting the demonstrative pronoun this. As you exhale, silently and mentally reciting the one-syllable verb ease. And you could do that maybe for 20 minutes or 15 minutes. And then you can continue again with let me jump back. Good old Dilgo Kensei Rinpoche, when he was teaching about generation stage, or Mahayoga, he was teaching that there's a direct correlation between the Buddha's 4 bases of mindfulness and the let's go over here. The 4 bases of mindfulness would be the circumstantial, physical, interpersonal, and mental. Those are represented metaphorically by the Yadam's Vati, or Pure Land, by the Yadam, which in this case is Shakyamuni, by the Mantra, and by the Bija, or syllable. So we can use these 4 things to train in love, and then we use these 4 things to train in letting go, and then we rest the mind either in Sutra, Mahamudra, or Ati Yoga, depending on your tradition. So if your teachers are literal minded, if they're very rigid, they won't teach you this. Maybe they'll hint at it, but that's it. The ones who are the most flexible and the most wise and the most loving will share this with you. And so the goal is not to win everybody's approval, because different people are in different places. After all, the Buddha did not receive everybody's approval. Lao Tzu did not receive everybody's approval. The Christ did not receive everybody's approval. I did not receive everybody's approval. And sadly, my friend, you will not receive everybody's approval. So the question when practicing is not what's the most popular way of doing this. The question is, what's going to feed my love and feed my wisdom of letting go the most? So I hope that makes sense to you. I'm going to check for questions real quick. Whoopsie. Let's tap button 8. Okay. So, Wizard, I'm not even sure if you're there right now. I hope you are. We look forward to answering more of your questions. But at this point, let's start practicing. So I'm going to tap button 9. Welcome to the latest iteration of Very Easy Meditation Practice Text, or Sadhana if you're nasty. Together let us relaxingly recite. Whatever comes, may all beings notice, relax, and flow. Whatever stays, may all beings notice, relax, and flow. Whatever goes, may all beings notice, relax, and flow. So even though Prahivajra lived approximately 3 centuries before Tilopa, there's one thing they agreed on, and that was that Sutra Mahamudra is superior to Bija Mahamudra or Tantra Mahamudra. Or, and to put it another way, Ati Yoga is superior to Mahayoga and Anu Yoga. Or in other words, the most efficient way to train in love and letting go is to limit ourselves to just mindfulness and meditation. That doing so will take care of everything else. Let's continue. Welcome to the first quarter of this evening's group meditation. on the tip of our left ring finger, we could rest the great knuckle at the base of our right ring finger, palms up in our lap. Doing so could gently invite our real or imagined subtle energies to automatically coalesce in the navel region of our mid-abdomen. So, if you've just joined, welcome aboard. I'd like to quickly get you up to speed and perhaps insult your intellect. Let us explore the mechanics of mindfulness. Every time we breathe in, we are wired by evolution to automatically tune into our sympathetic nervous system, which is ensconced within the middle third of our spinal cord. This sympathetic nervous system has evolved to help us to notice in a very special way, to help us to notice vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly. This, of course, begs the question, what do we do with that which we notice? Good question. The answer is quite simply, we meditate. You see, every time we exhale, we are wired by evolution to automatically access the parasympathetic nervous system, which is divided between the lower third and the upper third of our spinal cord. This parasympathetic nervous system has evolved to support both physical relaxation as well as mental release. This invites the question, what is the most efficient way that we can cooperate with our sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems? The answer is remarkably simple. All we have to do is silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this during each inhalation, and silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb ease during each exhalation. We do this for about 5 minutes, once every 12 hours or so. We will make progress upon the path of peace and love. So together, let us join in right now. So, Wizard, if you're still there, the ultimate purification of all negativities is the wisdom of letting go. So, practicing according to the instructions I gave you will help you upon the path of Mahayoga, also known as Tantra Mahmudra. So, Wizard, let me know if you're still there, and I'll happily walk you through a more practical version of this. If you're not there, then it doesn't matter. I'm talking to empty space. Not to say that the other people here are empty space. Although that would be funny if that was the case. Welcome to the second quarter of this evening's group meditation. Upon the tip of our left index finger, We could rest the great knuckle at the base of our right index finger, palms up in our lap. Doing so can gently invite our real or imagined subtle energies to automatically coalesce at the crown region of our head. Shivi's there. Excellent. And Shivi has a question, so let's tend to that real quick. Excuse me. I'm going to tap button 8. Okay. So Shivi writes, "Hi Lama, my basement flooded and I haven't practiced meditation for a while. I noticed myself becoming more rigid, although I had dealt with the situation, I was less loving, especially to myself." Well, that was a very poignant observation. I commend you on your vulnerability. And we've all made that mistake. And so I'm really glad you're back. And I'm sorry you experienced what must have been a very stressful situation. Quick review. We'll begin with the mechanics of mindfulness. Every time we inhale, thanks to our sympathetic nervous system, we are wired to vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly notice mind's antics of perception. You know, sights, sounds, sensations, flavors, scents, and the like, including the full spectrum of human emotions, intentions, thoughts, memories, and imaginings. What then do we do with that which we noticed? We meditate. You see, every time we exhale, thanks to our parasympathetic nervous system, we are wired to automatically relax, physically relax, and mentally release. What is the most efficient way that we can cooperate with these two facets of our autonomic nervous system? Simple. During each inhalation, we can silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this, and during each exhalation, we could silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb ease. Together, let us practice right now. Welcome to the third quarter of this evening's group meditation. Upon the tip of our left middle finger, we could rest the great knuckle at the base of our right middle finger, palms up in our lap. Hmm. Welcome to the final quarter of this evening's group meditation. Upon the tip of our left ring finger, we could rest the great knuckle at the base of our right ring finger, palms up in our lap. Doing so could gently invite our real or imagined subtle energies to automatically coalesce in the navel region of our mid-abdomen. During each inhalation, we could silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this. During each exhalation, we could relaxingly recite, silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb ease. On second thought, let's have some fun for a second. Let's play around for a minute. This is inspired by Wizard, whether or not he's still here or not. Let's tap button 5. And let's return to this Mishigas. So let's lovingly wish that all being circumstances are lovely. Let's hit home and center. Okay. So for the next 4 breaths, as we breathe in, we can lovingly wish that all circumstances of all beings now enjoy the good fortune of a Buddha's real or imagined paradise or Pure Land. During our exhalation, let's relax as best as we can into the recitation of this 12-syllable mantra of the Buddha. Om Muni Muni Maha Muni Swaha Muni Muni Maha Muni Swaha Muni Muni Maha Muni Swaha. Om Muni Muni Maha Muni Swaha Muni Muni Maha Muni Swaha Muni Muni Maha Muni Swaha. Om Muni Muni Maha Muni Swaha Muni Muni Maha Muni Swaha Muni Muni Maha Muni Swaha. Om Muni Muni Maha Muni Swaha Muni Muni Maha Muni Swaha Muni Muni Maha Muni Swaha. Now let us rest. So as we breathe in, let us watch, let us notice the antics of mind, and as we exhale, let us relax into mind's non-graspable nature. You have taken your first step into a much larger world. If you feel that I have earned it, you could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could even help support this channel. In approximately 10 hours, I would very much like to return to the tomorrow's morning meditation class and group practice. And if you are as geeky as me, may the Force be with you always.